gosh.
I think they're better. I think they're better.
Hold on, controversial statement. Controversial statement.
I want you to lie right now. I want you to lie. Go ahead and lie.
Man, I'll be doing the intros every time now. You go ahead and do the intro, bro.
Nah, you the intro guy. You the intro guy.
Why? Because I got the energy? Is that what it is?
Yes, you the intro guy.
Oh my goodness.
See, you are the what they like to call comedic relief.
No, that is me.
I am the what they like
you are the
call,
brains.
Yeah.
You are the brains. Because they're definitely
stretch.
They ain't too much up here, buddy. I'm just the bronze. You the brains, I'm the bronze.
Yeah, just I don't even know if I could go that far, but yeah.
Oh man. Well, anyways, welcome back to the pod, everybody. We are excited to be back for episode 3 of season 2. Did we haven't decided yet. Let's not try to do that yet. I was gonna say, did we decide on that yet?
3 episodes in, don't have
an official name. We're working on something though, but just stick around with this. We'll figure out something. But anyways, welcome back to the pod. We appreciate y'all for tuning in again. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. Send it to a friend, send it to your boy that likes football. Or maybe they just like watching two dudes kind of just, acting fools and every single week. Well, especially me. As you said, I'm the comic relief. But just two brothers having fun, talking football, kind of like a barbershop talk where you just sitting there just chopping it up. If you like stuff like that, or somebody likes stuff like that, send it to them, and then it'll help us out a lot. Okay. But anyways, welcome back. What's up, Tweez? How you doing, bro?
I am doing.
What's going on?
I'm doing great, man.
Yeah. What you been up to?
Work. A whole lot of work. So
yeah,
that's
I feel it.
Working
life
OT,
be life.
Well,
if y'all would share the pod, maybe we wouldn't have to work so much. How about that?
Easier said than done. But yeah, it was a cool week overall. Like I said, my fiance's bridal shower was this weekend.
Oh yeah.
So all the fam came, got to see moms yesterday. Went out to
I
dinner,
heard someone was a little bit late to the bridal shower.
Yeah.
I mean, once I heard what happened, I'm like, oh, okay, that's understandable.
Yeah.
And let me just say, y'all two peas in the pie, because y'all be having the same problem. You know what I'm saying?
You know what's so funny? And the crazy part about it is you don't. So I don't know where you think that is like a thing here.
Hey.
Last time I checked, it usually, if we talking about pod, we usually waiting for you.
Nah, I ain't talking about that.
Yes.
I'm talking about what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. We had to talk about that all podcast. I don't know.
Exactly we don't want to bring up prom right now, anyways. But yeah, man, I heard you guys had a good little party over there. I heard moms came down. Now you know what I'm talking about. 2 peas in a pod.
Yep, that's valid. You got it. Yep, for sure. I see exactly what you mean now.
This weekend, bro, I was heartbroken all weekend. Every team that I support was just like done. 2 teams was like they lost to just like crazy comebacks. So I was like, you saw the Cal game, Cal and Miami?
Oh yeah, you know what's so funny about that game in particular? So I had to partly do like crowd control at the station for people to walk up to the game.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So when we got there, I got there around like I want to say 5-ish, 6 o'clock, whatever. It's hella people, right? It's packed. Everybody trying to figure out, like, all my coworkers trying to figure out, like, what's going on? And I'm like, yo, it's a big game today. They've been out here since midnight.
Yeah, bro.
Friday night. So, we, I'm working. I did a little crowd control, but then I left because I had other stuff we had to do. But anyway, we get to the office because I'm from the clock out.
Yeah.
I'm watching the game while I'm doing my stats. And it's a 20-point lead, right? Now, mind you,
25 point lead.
I caught when it was 20.
Okay,
So
they
so
got to
when I was
25
watching,
points.
it was 20, right? So everybody in the office, like, oh man, it's over. It's a wrap. We got it. Do 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 do. I'm like, yeah, but it's college. You don't know, right? So I'm like, okay. So we talking, whatever. This is probably like this was all within the span of an hour for me. So I right before I went to go change to get ready to clock out, they scored, right? So I think after they scored, I think they went three and out again, and I was changing, and then they scored again. I got in the car and I was on my way home. By the time I got to like Pittsburgh, they were up by one because they scored again. And I was like, oh, this is really happening in the fourth quarter. And it's just crazy because like this is that to me. Well, to be fair to Cal, I didn't watch the game, so I can't really say, but I don't really like when teams play instead of playing they instead of playing to win, they play not to lose,
That's
right? And to be
exactly what happened.
fair, from the time I watched, because even the announcer said I caught that where the announcer said he was like, "Oh, they still was aggressive, this, that, and the third." But it didn't feel like it for what I seen. It felt like they were trying to play it safe, even on defense. They were trying to play it safe, and they still were blowing coverages.
Yeah.
Um, and I hate when teams do that at to a certain point because by the time you try to get your team back on attack mode, the momentum has shifted so much to the point where it felt like the whole game you've been attack mode, attack mode, attack mode, attack mode, right? To the point where like yes, you have a comfortable lead, but at the same time you have to play with some level of aggression still because especially in college, like anything can happen. As you've seen it yourself, a 20-point lead got erased in the fourth quarter in a span of like what 15 minutes, 18 minutes.
Yeah, they said the second half it was like 25 to like 3 when like the point scored. Just the second
Exactly,
half.
exactly, and that was a span of a quarter. Like literally, we just watched 2 weeks ago, or maybe last week, 2 weeks ago, we just watched Bama be up by Georgia by damn near 30.
Hmm.
And Georgia just miraculously makes a comeback. And mind you, they had a lot more time, so there's that. But a lot of teams, when they get an early lead or a big lead like that, they try to play it a little too safe sometimes, and it can cost you because you lose your momentum, you lose your aggression, and by the time you're trying to get everybody back doing that again, the whole momentum is shifted to the point where like you basically on your heels now. It's almost like fighting and you beating somebody up, and then you like, you know what, I'm running this round. Let me just chill. Or you think you won this fight, so let me just chill. And then
Yeah.
and then you give the fighter another chance at life. And then when they get on attack mode, you've been so on your back to the point where like you like, oh, now I'm playing, I'm on defense now. So
Hmm.
it's tough. And it was sick because I was actually looking forward to it. I was looking forward because everybody in college got upset at last on Saturday. There were like five ranked teams that got upset. The only
Yeah.
one that didn't get upset was Cal. I mean Miami.
Like Miami,
So
yeah. Nah, it was crazy. Like, I stayed up all night to watch that game because, and even when we had the lead, and I was thinking like, oh, this game's over, like we got this. But then like you said, you got to remember that it's college football, and anything can happen in college football. Mistakes happens all the time that changes momentum, that gets the other team going. But man, when they first came out, like Cal was on fire. Like they couldn't
hmm
stop them from scoring. Cal was getting interceptions. They was running it back to the house. It was like they were blitzing everywhere. They was in man coverage, so they was locking everybody down. And then as soon as halftime hit, they're like, all right, we're already up 25 something, maybe 25, 20 points, whatever. And they're like, okay, so they switched over to playing in zone coverage, and that's when they just got exposed because they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the route running. They couldn't handle, I didn't even know who Cam Ward was, but let me tell you, I know who he is now. They say he's a runner or probably the top runner for the Heisman this year.
hmm
Just because he's been playing great all year. I mean, they're undefeated, and just to see the way that he stayed calm the entire time, I was like, bro, like he's built different. Like, if that was me, I was watching the game and I was about to have a heart attack. I couldn't imagine being the other team's quarterback and being like, "All right, we down 25. Let's go get this. Let's go get this dub." Like, bro, that's crazy. And but they're talking about it. They're like, there's a lot of scouts in the stadium right now watching this kid. They're watching him see what he does, how he's gonna respond. His team's down. He's in a big game right now. And Mans went out there. He was throwing passes, ball getting dropped. Throw another pass, ball get dropped. Overthrowing, and he was like, "All right, cool." It's like fourth down. He's like, "All right, let's go for it," and they get the first down, and he's just like chilling the entire time. And you see, like Cal, they weren't blitzing anymore, so you can tell he has more time now, to be able to throw and to sit in the pocket. But man, that one hurt. That one hurt. I mean, there was a huge hype. I mean, you see like the Marshawn Lynch on TV, Pat McAfee's on TV. They just talking about it, Nick Saban, and it's just like, man, like all eyes were on Cal to see if they could actually pull up the upset like everybody else was for the day, but it just did not swing in their favor towards the end there. So
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
yeah.
It was heartbreaking.
It was definitely heartbreaking. I mean, especially because this is the first time College Game Day has been in the Bay since they've started that show. For
Yeah,
those
it
who
was the
may
first
not
time.
know, College Game Day is a morning show on Saturdays that, for those who've been under a rock, that's basically like it's basically like the pregame for college football every weekend. So Sunday mornings, if you want like a pregame, like if you was going to right before you go to the club, you're gonna go dance, do your thing, you go watch College Game Day, right?
Yeah.
And it was at the Bay Area for the first time ever, which is honestly surprising, granted how many good teams Cal has had since they probably started it, which was I want to say like mid 2000s. I
Yeah, it was
think
like
like
Lynch and
Marshawn, Aaron
Rogers.
Rodgers was there. Yeah. So, but I was telling my friends, I was like, yeah, I think about back in them days, like every time I remember vividly was like they was always at SC or they was always at Oregon because those two teams were like the it team back then. Even though Cal
Yeah.
was good, but I always remember those teams being the it teams. But anyway, very good game, very good statement game for Cam Ward. I think he probably locked himself as one of the Heisman winners. I mean, at
Yeah.
least the Heisman finalists. I know it's pretty early in the season, but when you have a game like that on your resume, on top of the Cal, I think were one of the top defenses
Yeah, they have the
in
best
all of college.
defense.
Um, at least that's what the announcer kept saying. Like, oh, and mind you, I haven't watched a lot of college football, so for what I
Yeah.
was told, they only gave up like a 14 points a game up until this game.
Yeah, no, the
So,
defense has been going crazy. I mean, the offense is good too. It's just our quarterback right now, Mendoza, he's a sophomore, so he's still trying to get, his feel for it. But yeah, it's mainly the defense that's been holding it down for him.
okay, so yeah, they but yeah, so that's a big win for him, especially on his resume. Especially, granted, he already did smacked up Florida, he already did all that, but to have those type of games where you show your resilience and your leadership and be able to will your team to a victory, especially in a hostile environment as Cal, with the defense and with everything on your shoulders, pretty impressive. I was
Yeah.
laughing. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not really like and it was funny to me
But I
because
couldn't even go to
I thought it was gonna
sleep.
be lit. Like I was telling all my coworkers, I was like, man, it's gonna be cracking tonight. Like Berkeley gonna be lit. It's gonna be, you know what I mean? I
If
was
they
gonna hear
would
some stories.
have
Yeah,
won.
for sure, it was gonna be cracking. As soon as I see they lost, I was like, oh, it's sad. Everybody going home. It's a wrap. Like so,
Yeah.
yeah, man. It is what it
Yeah.
is. It's college football, though, man. You know what I mean? You play till the clock say zero. It ain't over.
Yeah.
So.
You see, what's the name, Brumman from Alabama that like had a little temper tantrum at the end? He like threw his
Oh yeah,
mouthpiece
because he
and then
lost the
he was like,
Vanderbilt.
yeah.
But I mean, that's what it is, though. Like everybody. Like I said, there was a lot of upsets yesterday. There were like
Mhm.
on Saturday, there were like
Tennessee
I think
lost.
I want to say Tennessee lost. There were like
Uh-huh.
four or five, like of like the
Alabama.
top 15 teams that lost. So
Yeah.
when you add that, you know, what I mean, it was a big week this week for college football as far as
Yeah.
upsets concerned. So yeah, I got to see what the rankings look like going into this week because They got Bama at 7 now. Miami, so they got. So I forgot who lost this week. But anyway, they moved Bama drop all the way to 7th. Luckily they still not. They luckily they didn't get dropped out the top 10, so they better be happy. Michigan, I think, lost two. They lost to no. Did Michigan lose? Yeah, Michigan lost to Washington. I think this week too. They got dropped to 24. Who else lost this week? Hmm.
Tennessee.
Tennessee,
Are they on there?
Tennessee lost, but they dropped to eighth. So, and I think they still, I
Okay.
think they played a top team. Like it wasn't like they played some scrub.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. So like Michigan lost. Oh, they lost to Arkansas. Wow. Well, they probably
That's what
didn't
it was. It
update it
was
then.
Arkansas.
Yeah, they probably didn't update. Well, they did update it then. It doesn't. It shows. I have to check my phone on my the app on my phone because it'll show you like what they were before they played, like what their record was, what their rank was rather. So yeah. All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Shout out to
But
Miami. But yeah,
college
man.
football.
Probably in some cases, I prefer to watch that more than NFL football. But
It's definitely more entertaining. Like just the hype. I feel like you get more
yeah,
like into it.
you just get more like interesting games because you just never know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. So
Yeah. That's definitely that.
yeah.
But that's college football. And we here for the NFL. Man, week 5, it was it was something else.
Kind of mid, if I'm being truthfully honest. Kind of mid. I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
it was
In my
mid.
personal opinion, kind of mid.
There were a couple like nail biters, but I think the main thing about this week is just the number of injuries that was like going on. It was like, bro, just everybody's out here getting carted off.
Yeah, I'm to be fair, like I said, I didn't watch a lot of the games, but none of the games
Yeah,
really memorable for me. I mean, Thursday night was great. They had the Atlanta versus Tampa Bay. Shout out to Kirk Cousins. He threw for 5 touchdowns, which is insane.
yeah. Kirk
Um,
Cousins went off.
he went off. He was a dog yesterday. And then obviously my dog. Well, I mean, obviously, I don't want to talk about the Ravens every week because we can, respectfully, because
I mean,
like
you put it
we
on
just
here.
do we just no, I didn't. That was from last week.
This is last week's.
Yes, that's what I said. That was from last week.
Oh
I didn't
well, it's
update
still
it.
relevant to what
I
happened
mean, yeah,
this
like I
week.
mean, at the end of the day, like it's still relevant.
Well, we could talk about it because if we look at both sides with the Ravens and the Bengals, like both quarterbacks had a great game. It just really came down to it to who's going to stop who at the end. Lamar
At the
had
end
a
of the day,
great
we
game. I think Burrow had better stats than Lamar, but the team couldn't get it together like the Ravens could.
at the end of the day, we have Derrick Henry and they don't.
That's
Just that simple. Is that we have Derrick Henry, they don't. Oh, but nah. On a serious note, though, very good game. I think both, like you said, both Lamar and Joe Burrow played excellent. I think Joe
yeah,
Burrow killed it. I mean, at the end of the day, like when he owned top 3 quarterback, like when he owned his shit, top 3 quarterback. Um, but yeah, man, I think when you add a player like Derrick Henry in combination with Lamar Jackson, it's just a tough thing to beat.
yeah,
Um, and especially with I believe Cincinnati was up by at least 2 possessions. I think most of the second half, at least the fourth quarter. Because I remember my friend was texting me talking trash. The second half, he was sending me a whole bunch of what you call it. He was sending me a whole bunch of burrow emoji. So I was just like, all right, like it's cool. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna, what I mean, I'm gonna let you talk your talk, you know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, it was a really great game. I think it was a great shootout between two. It's a rivalry. I mean, when you got a division game like that, it's
yeah,
always going to be very competitive. I don't really, this is just another stamp of a game. Like we've had competitive games with the Bengals ever since I can remember. So, at the end of the day, it was a great game. But damn, I am stuttering my words. A great game between both teams, and yeah, I mean, one of the
yeah.
separators just having a great run game, which I think that we were able to get more involved, especially in the second half. I mean, if we being honest, Derrick Henry, most of his runs or his run came in the fourth quarter with that big run that was like 70 yards, and that was pretty much his chunk of offense as far as his impact. But I mean, when you have a player like that that contribute and make an effect on the game like that at that point in time, that's all. Sometimes that's just all you need. You know, what I mean, when you have Lamar pretty much giving you putting up 28 points, was very dynamic, making plays out the pocket, had one pass that was like probably if you ever want to get an idea of what Lamar is and who he's been his whole career, you just have to find this one play from this game in particular. He drops back, gets kind of stuck. I think he lost the ball. He gets stuck, turns around, almost gets sacked. Juice bruh goes to out of bounds, and like he has two D line coming at him, and he just throws a dot in the end zone while taking a contact hit. He's the
Yeah.
second best quarterback in the league to me. Period. The second best quarterback in the league to me, and I'm gonna stand on that. We knocked out
I'm
Josh
not gonna
Allen.
disagree with you on that.
We knocked out Joe Burrow. At this point, like I said, for me, in my opinion, and I stay, yes, from that 1 year, fine. I still don't think he's better than Lamar. And Lamar comes anytime Lamar and them play the Bengals, we beat them every time. I think we're like 9-1 against them since they both been in the league.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when you
for
guys play a
me,
top five quarterback, like Lamar wins unless it's against Mahomes.
15. Unless it gets 15. In which
Yeah.
I understand. Like 15 is 15 outside of the cost. Um, But yeah, like that, it's just that to me, it's just that simple. Personally can't wait for the game this week against the Commanders. I will definitely be making sure I
That's gonna be
tune in that
good.
one. That is my personal matter of fact. I'm gonna wait for the subject because I'm gonna talk about it later. But I have a new
Segment.
segment. Thank you,
Okay. I
appreciate
got a
you.
question for you though.
What?
If you was playing defense and you had to play the Ravens
Yes,
and you saw Derrick Henry running full speed at you, open field,
yes, yes.
are you tackling him or are you just gonna lay down or are you running away? What are you doing?
Running away. I am going to now. It depends on what position I'm playing, right? So like the position dictates the my
Say you're a
size.
linebacker, so you got a decent size, but you
Uh
see
huh.
Derrick Henry. Like, it don't matter how big you are, you see Derrick Henry coming at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Full sprint.
Oh no, I'm trying it. I'm trying. Either I'm
You
gonna get
trying
ran.
it?
I'm trying it. I mean, if I'm a linebacker and I'm respect to Derrick Henry, like they're not the same size because he's like 6'4". But I'm saying as a linebacker, that's a prideful thing, right? You have to now. If you told me I was a corner or a safety, I'm either going for the legs or I'm just gonna make a business decision and act like I missed, right? But if I'm a linebacker or a defensive lineman, you
Hey,
have to try. You
no,
have to
bro.
try. You have to try because at that point, I will live with the fact I got ran over because it's Derrick Henry. Because nobody else could say nothing to me because you wouldn't even try to hit him in the first place. So
I will take my helmet off and throw it at him before I try
yeah,
to
nah,
hit him.
yeah,
I
nah.
ain't doing all that, bro. Hey, coach, you don't have to yell at me when I get off the field. You can take me out for the rest of the game. I don't care. That man is a beast, and he gonna send me to my retirement early. Nah, bro. My helmet coming off. It
Yeah,
is getting chucked right at him.
yeah. And I love Derrick Henry like that. He is a talented running back. But however, I would feel like a bitch if I let that slide. Like I have to try. I have to try. If I get smacked, if I get ran over, just add me to the list of the rest of the people that got smacked trying to hit him. Like there's a long list. I'll just be part of that list. But like I
He
would
gonna add you
feel
to the tour list.
right. Nah, he won't because I don't think he's respect to Derrick Henry. He's never been like the because like for me, I think I would be more afraid of going against like a player like Marshawn or like Jerome Bettis downhill full speed
Mhm.
compared to Derrick Henry. And the only reason I say that is because Derrick Henry is more of a patient runner. if you notice when he runs, he's not going downhill violent. Like he's patient. He'll wait and then he go. And by the time you try to catch up with him, he's stiff arming you, and that's where you feel it at. Whereas Marshawn or Jerome Bettis, for example, they running and they're violently running at you. Like they looking to come do damage. So it's a little bit different, in my opinion, as far as
Mm,
like Derrick Henry is big, and don't get me wrong, you don't want to hit him either. I'm not saying that, but he's not as a violent runner as I think a lot of people portray him to be. I think he can,
mm,
though, don't get me wrong, but I think his natural, he's patient. He's big enough to kind of just get people off him. And then once he hit his stride, it's hard to take him down because he's going to just stiff arm you or whatever the case may be. But like, and maybe I gotta watch old Derrick Henry tapes. I could be wrong, but like, I will be more nervous if I try to go head up with like a player like Marshawn Lynch or something like that, just because of the
mm.
fact, or Jerome Bettis, because those were the running backs that put their head down and they living with
They run
whatever
through
come with
you.
it, right? So like, those are the ones you like. Oh, you got a couple screws loose. I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm good. Those are
Yeah.
the ones you're gonna think about, but not Derrick Henry in that way.
Yeah,
Derrick Henry
well,
just hella big. It's hard to take. It's hard to take somebody down that's 6'4", 260 that can run a 4.5. Like that's just not that. You know what I mean? Like most linebackers are 6'1", 6'2" at best, maybe 250, and they're not running a 4.5. So you know,
yeah. Nah,
um,
I'm letting him score. Forget
right.
all that.
But yeah, but yeah, Ravens got the nice win. We're 3-2. I think right now we are tied for. No, I think we're just second. I don't think there's nothing crazy going on right now because wait, let me check real quick. Blah, 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 blah. We are actually leading the division now. What do
Yeah,
you
you're ahead of
know?
Pittsburgh.
They had a Pittsburgh. Man,
Hmm.
well, yeah. Any other teams you want to talk about? I mean,
I
you
mean,
know,
I want to ask you about Baker Mayfield.
what
He's
about him?
having a season, even though he didn't win, but for some reason, Baker Mayfield, he turned that, the Tampa Bay Bucks around, and, but he went back over there and he's doing his thing. He just unfortunately had to run into Kirk Cousins this week, who had a great game. But what do you think about Baker Mayfield? How he's been playing?
I think Baker Mayfield has played great, especially given the expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield was a top 10 draft pick. Oh no, he was the first overall draft pick out of Cleveland. And I think he is a prime example of many where a lot of times, even if the player has the talent,
Mm-hmm.
depending on where you go matters.
Yeah.
He went to Cleveland. Cleveland didn't really know necessarily what they were trying to do. And he had his rough patches with Cleveland, right? Then he goes to the Panthers, and it's kind of more or less the same. Um, and then it took him going to the Rams to kind of almost have to revive his career because
Mm-hmm.
when he was in Cleveland, he looked it pretty bad. He had one good season. And I'm looking at it right. Well, he had really one good season. His rookie year was okay, but he didn't really lead to wins. His second year, he was pretty bad. His third year is when he kind of felt like he was hitting a stride, and his fourth year was like,
Yeah.
um, so then he goes to Carolina. Carolina, he doesn't really do that well. It took him going to the Rams, and I think it was the only reason we found out about him because it was an injury, and he played the Raiders, and he almost, you know what I mean, like that game in particular probably revived like a thought of like, oh, maybe Baker Mayfield can still be nice.
Yeah.
And then he goes to Tampa Bay where he basically is picking up the pieces from when Brady left,
Mm-hmm.
and just happened to, and they just happened, he just happened to be in a better system that has helped him kind of revive his career. And
Yeah.
shout out to him this year so far. He's averaging, what is it? He's 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, already 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards, 71 completion percentage, which is amazing. Especially that's his career high as up to this point. So and his QBR ratings are 112, QBR 63. So he's in the top tier as far as like the quarterbacks right now, as far as
Mm-hmm.
statistically.
I think they're
Unfortunately,
ranked
I mean
number
they're 3-2,
8.
right? Right. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, that doesn't really led to wins. I mean, they're 3-2, but obviously they lost to Kirk Cousins. He put up a miraculous game himself. But yeah, man, Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback. I think that he just needed to have a system that he can grow within and that actually believed him. And you start to learn as time progresses, and we're starting to see it more and more now that there's a few teams in particular that for some odd reason don't know how to develop quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Cleveland,
yeah. We're seeing that
Carolina,
now. Hmm.
the Jets, and then that's when I'm gonna stop because I can't really confirm or deny any more teams. And I might want to throw the Bears on that list soon, maybe. I might throw who else I want to throw on that list soon.
Raiders,
The Steelers is up for that soon. The who else I want to think is on that list
Giants.
soon. But there are a few teams in the league today that I think we need to start having this conversation of the lack of quarterback development within that organization.
Yeah.
Cleveland, they've probably went through the most quarterbacks I've seen in a long period of time and just can't happen to find one that works within their system. Deshaun Watson has been playing terrible. He
You
looks
see
like a
him walk
shell.
off the field?
Yeah, he looks like a shell of himself. I don't know. I told my homeboy he's a Browns fan. Mario. He's a Brown fan.
Yeah.
Mario. I told him this year is probably what we think. This year I gave him a pass the past couple years. Injuries didn't really get to play, got on the flow back of things. This is his third year there, and to me, I was like, this is what we're going to expect Deshaun to be. And so far, he is looking like a bottom half tier quarterback. Like I don't. It just doesn't. He looks like he's not the same person, which I don't really expect him to be. But like I didn't expect him to be this bad.
Yeah.
You go to what's that? The Panthers. That is a double-edged sword in a sense because Andy Dalton had a couple good games, but overall I think they're still bad. But they for some reason don't know what to do with Bryce Young, and he looks
Hmm.
terrible. But I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. I just think that the Carolina Panthers don't know what they want or don't know how to develop a quarterback. Because
Yeah.
they had Baker Mayfield and he still pretty much struggled over there and he had to leave there too. The only good quarterbacks they probably had in the past 25 years is Jay Delhomme and Cam Newton.
Cam Newton even came back for like a cool couple
Of course,
games.
and he was, but like I'm saying, like that's the only two quarterbacks I can remember that were actually good in the Carolina Panthers uniform. Same
Yeah.
thing for the Browns. Like, how many good quarterbacks can you think of that were in the Brown system that were good?
Just Flacco.
Just Flacco, and he was a Raven at first.
Hmm.
I don't give them credit for that. He
No.
came up under the Baltimore regime. So I'm trying to think the Jets. The Jets don't. When's the last good quarterback the Jets had outside of Aaron Rodgers? Mark
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is
Sanchez.
not even doing that good right now either. He need to
Right.
retire. He need to
I,
retire.
I don't even think he needs to retire. I just think that offense is bad. Like their offense is ran bad. Everybody don't like each other. Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers are button heads left and right. Like it's bad right now. Like the
Mhm.
play calling is trash. Everything is just really bad over there. Brees Hall don't really look that good right now. It's just a whole bunch of like layers that's just not fitting together. But needless to say, that's my point. Like, there's a lot of teams in the league that don't know how to develop quarterbacks, and for Baker Mayfield, he just happened to find an organization that just happened to have the proper culture for him to excel. Or at least they're doing right by him and putting him with good personnel to be able to produce. Because Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are looking like pretty much the best or one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL. Um, so, when you got Mike Evans is 1,000 yards a year, all rip easy, and Chris Godwin, I think he did with injuries last year, but he was a top 15 receiver at a point. So,
Yeah. It's
you
like
know,
how like Chase and Higgins were known. It's like Evans and Godwins are like known as that too. It's like it's
yes.
just the
Yeah, yeah.
duo.
Yeah, when it comes to wide receiver duos, I would probably put Mike Evans and Chris Godwin as a top 10 receiver duo.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So when you have that, and you have the proper coaching, and I think Baker Mayfield has definitely he's definitely been beneficial from that. So yeah, man. Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback. I don't know if I'll put him in my top 10. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if I'll put him in my top 15. Well, he'll be top 15, to be
I think
fair. He'll be top
he's
15.
in a good stride right now. As long as he can maintain this though, he'll definitely be good. But he needs to just maintain it because we have seen him fall off before. But hopefully, like you said, the system that Tampa has, they can keep him going.
But I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah,
Last year he was 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 4,000 yards, 64 completion percentage. Like he was great last year. The team he made the Pro Bowl. I think they made the playoffs last year, but he was good last year with Tampa Bay. So I don't think that's the issue of him falling off. I think this is kind of going to be what he's probably going to be while he's there. But
hmm
I just think that there are just certain teams that just can't develop quarterbacks. It's just that simple. There's a decent amount of teams that can develop quarterbacks, and you just see it time and time where as soon as they leave that team and they flourish, excuse me, as soon as you see that team leave, you think of Jared Goff. No, not to disrespect the Rams, but because he was good there.
you
Let
need
me
some
take that
water,
back.
bro. You good?
Yeah, yeah, I do need some water. I'm gonna go grab some in a second. Baker Mayfield. Who else? Andy Dalton. Well, I can say Andy Dalton. That's not fair because he ain't really first. I say Gino. Who else?
That went to a
Either
better
somebody
system.
that looked bad or looked good when they left. Sam Darnold. He played
hmm
for Carolina. He played for New York. Didn't work. Went to Minnesota. They're undefeated. And it's not to say it's solely because of him, but there was a point in time where Sam Darnold was thought about being out the league, and he's the same age as Joe Burrow.
That's the crazy part.
Crazy part. So I don't think, you know what I'm saying? You say Sam Darnold. Who else is of course?
Justin
What's up?
Fields. Justin Fields is
Justin
having a heck of a
Fields.
season this
Having a
time.
season. Having a way better season than he ever had in Chicago. Who
Yeah.
else? Trying to think. I said Gino,
hmm
Sam. I need to give me some butter.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anybody else that's kind of just like
Oh, I mean,
outstandingly
obviously
good
outside
because
of
they got
Baker
traded.
Mayfield. Yeah, outside of Baker Mayfield. But yeah, there's just certain teams that just like run through quarterbacks because they just can't develop them.
Yeah.
And that's kind of more of like the issue that Baker Mayfield had, where he just happened to be on teams that just don't really know how to develop quarterbacks. So you end up having these type of results where you look like a Pro Bowl like quarterback in year 7, 10. Wait, how many years? Says yeah, 6 or 7. But you spent your first 5 to 6 years on terrible franchises. So
Hey, bro. Okay,
possibly.
I'm gonna do you a favor. Go get some
Thank
water.
you. Let me go get some water, bro.
I'm
Jesus
gonna
Christ.
talk about the Niners real quick.
Yeah, you do that, bro. Do that. Do that.
Because we had an interesting game happen. Like I said, two of my teams this weekend, they had just started off good and just let it go at the end, which the Niners were kind of that. Niners lost to Arizona Cardinals 24-23. Uh, and it was just I don't know what was going on with these guys. I mean, you could say like, oh, it's the injuries because we did have Jake Moody got injured, so now we don't even got a kicker. So this is gonna be crazy because we don't even have a kicker now. I seen today that the Niners announced that they're holding opening tryouts for kickers right now because they don't have anybody that could kick. So they're down the kicker, but that didn't even happen till the second half. So, but they were doing good. The Niners had the lead. They were going at it, and they just for some reason just started turning around. Uh, the defense, they even had a pick six at a time, and that block kick. No, it wasn't a pick six. It was just a block kick that they were able to run it back to the house. Um, They were starting off good, but they just for some reason got comfortable. They just underestimated what Kyler Murray could do. He kind of turned it on where he was out there scrambling, just finding ways to get away from the defense and to be able to get open and just hit his guys down the field. The Niners, they were able to stop Connor a little bit from making those explosive runs, but it just he was just, every yard was just helping the momentum of the team. But
You talk about how trash
yeah,
y'all is.
we ain't trash. It's like what happened with that Cal game to where they got comfortable and they just stopped putting it on the gas. I mean, because we saw Hufanga got hurt, so he wasn't going to be playing. Then we got Jake Moody got hurt, so he's not going to be playing soon. And then we're missing, a couple key players on the offense,
But y'all got
especially
top
Christian
five. Y'all got top
McCaffrey.
five Brock Purdy. That's what I heard.
We
That's what I
do. I
heard.
mean, if you look at
That's what
Brock
I
Purdy,
heard.
Brock Purdy didn't have too bad of a game. I mean, he
He
still threw
played
for
trash.
244
He
and
played
got a
trash.
tug. He did get
He
two
played
interceptions though.
trash. He
But
played
look,
trash. He threw for a little over 50%. He threw one touchdown, two picks. He played bad.
okay,
He
but if you
played
look at the
trash.
game, you see him having to scramble and move. Uh, and like almost every single snap, he gets the ball, he steps back, and somebody's right there trying to get him to where he's gonna have to run. I mean, we seen him. They had a highlight reel of him actually when he took off and ran, and he juked dude out of his cleats. That was crazy. But to see Brock Purdy juke a man out of his cleats just to get a first down, he was trying. He was trying to do everything he could. It's just his receivers weren't getting open. So he had to use his legs a lot this game, but it just did not click for the Niners. The defense just kind of fell apart there at the end and kind of just let them come back. And then we couldn't score. We were getting into the red zone and we just could not get the touchdown. And because Jake Moody got injured, we we wasn't guaranteed that we was gonna make the field goal. So I don't know. These Niners, man, they just got that injury bug in them this year for some reason. Everybody's just out here getting injured. I don't know, man.
I don't care what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Because
I
I'm gonna
bet
tell you
you
like
don't.
this. No, 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 no. On a serious note, though, this is my thing, right? And to be fair, like I said, I take this with a grain of salt because this is just on the outside looking in. Because I didn't get to watch the Niner game for real, so whatever. What I see is the problem. Because the reality is, for y'all to be 2-3 at this point is kind of alarming, right? Because you said it yourself, you got a top five quarterback. CMC obviously is a big factor of him not being here, right? There's
Yeah,
no if it's buts about it. As
he
great
helps
as
out a
Brock
lot.
Purdy is, he is necessary. Like it's essential that Chris McCaffrey's there. I think it's very evident that if Christian McCaffrey is not there, y'all are not winning. Let's just get that out the way now. Like, let's make it wide open and clear.
I don't know
If
about
there's
all
no
that.
Christian McCaffrey, y'all are not winning anything. It is obvious at this point. Y'all have no run game for real. Jordan Mason has had that one game, the first game of the season against the Jets. Cool. Outside of that, he's pretty much fizzled out to what we expected him to be. Fine. Brock Purdy, a little more limited, has had okay games, but he still hasn't had that, oh, top three, top five game that you're talking about.
Oh, but last week you was praising man's.
No,
Okay,
no, no,
I
no,
see
no,
the
no, no, no,
switch
no,
up.
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
I see the
No,
switch
no, 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 no.
up. I
Listen,
see the
listen,
switch
listen,
up.
listen,
It's
listen, listen,
cool,
listen,
bro.
listen. I still think he's played good, but I do think I didn't say he never had a top. I said he played good. I didn't even say he was top five, top 10. I never said that. Did
You
it? You
said
can.
you said he was top 10. You said he was top 10.
I didn't say top 10.
Yeah,
Go
you
check this. Go
did.
check the film. I
You
didn't.
said he was top 10.
Okay, if put like this, my bad. I might have talked too fast. I don't think I believe I said he was top 10. I'm pretty sure I said he's been playing really good, but I'll leave it neither here nor there. My thing is that you have Brandon Ayuk. He just got paid. He had a good game. 8 catches, 147. He had a good game. Depot, what you doing?
He switched up
You
to
know,
number one and He ain't been the one since.
Yeah, what was this? Kittle had a decent game, but he is kind of inconsistent, or to me has been more inconsistent lately, probably since the end of last year.
I feel like he kind of got it back together a little bit because if you see when they like struggling, Purdy will go to Kittle now and he'll catch the ball, but he's not gonna
I
have
mean,
like an
finally, I
explosive
mean,
run how he was last year, like mid season, to where you gave it to him, he's gonna carry a dude on his back for 20 yards. Like he ain't doing that, but
yeah, for sure. But I think like compared to what we originally had Kittle being as a top tight end in the league, I don't know. He just hasn't give me the feeling that he's the best tight end in the league. I'm gonna
mhm,
leave that there.
yeah.
The defense, in particular, they still good. I think it's still great. I think there's nothing wrong with the defense, really. I think the defense has always been what it's gonna be, top to bottom. I think very talented. You know, shout out to Kyler Murray. Had an okay game. I don't think he had a really a good game. He just did enough to win the game. I mean, they literally locked y'all down and was y'all couldn't score a single point in the second half.
Mm-hmm. He had an
That is,
explosive
I
run
don't
in the
think
like
there's been a
first
team
drive.
huh?
He had an explosive run the first drive, but
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like for the most part, like he wasn't like. I mean, Kyler Murray he played good enough. I think he played good, but not like oh my god, it was such a great performance. He played good though.
mm-hmm.
But my thing is that for y'all to get held to 0 points in the second half with the offense that y'all have is kind of alarming to a team that yes is a divisional matchup, but probably won't make the playoffs. If we're being
If they
honest,
play like that, nah.
if they play like that, they not making the playoffs
Mm-hmm.
because the Cardinals are not that good. That's what I'm saying. Like the Cardinals are not that good. They played good to win this game, but they're not a playoff team. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that y'all let them lock y'all to 0 points in the second half with the offense pretty much being majority healthy outside of CMC, kind of alarming a little bit. A
Yeah.
little bit.
I
To
don't know. I feel
me.
like once everybody got that bag, it was kind of just like,
To me.
what you doing, bro?
Right. To me. I think it's a little bit alarming just because of the fact of how dependent we're seeing the offense be on such player right now. I mean, you look at the scores, right? You you played against the Jets, put up 30, you lose 17 to 23 to the Vikings, you lose 24 to 27 to the Rams. You beat the Patriots, whoop de doo, and then y'all lose to the Cardinals. Based on these teams, y'all should at least be 4-1. At least 4-1. The Patriots, I don't think, are better than y'all. The Rams are worse than y'all, and y'all lost to them. The Vikings, sure. But like you should have beat the Cardinals, you should have beat the Rams, and you would be 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all lost to the Vikings, so there's that.
Yeah.
Um, so then you look at your schedule. You got at Seattle on Thursday versus the Chiefs, Cowboys, at Buccaneers versus the Seahawks, at Packers, at Bills. That's your next like 6 weeks. That
That's
is
an
a
insane schedule.
that is a low key tough schedule to have on in the middle of the season with no Christian McCaffrey. Half the players get injured,
And now they don't
and
got a kicker.
now you ain't got a kicker. I didn't know that part, so that's new.
Yeah. They got open tryouts right now for kickers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's that bad.
Yeah. So that is I don't know. I don't know. I have to really watch. I'm gonna watch the film on the Niners because I'm very curious of like what went wrong. But like they are in a weird space right now, and obviously just 2-3. They could turn the season around, right? It's early. There's still a lot of time, but there is a I just to me, I just noticed how missed Christian McCaffrey is because how easy he makes that offense be able to go. Like, as much as I love Brock Purdy, I think what happens is a reason why I thought he worked for y'all so much is because there are certain teams where, yes, this player looks good, but they need this player in the offense to make the load lighter for this person,
Yeah,
right?
to help.
But then when you put person B in person A slot to play the person A role, they usually struggle for a little bit. And maybe he may figure it out, he may not. But if person A is not there, it makes person B job 10 times harder. Chris McCaffrey made everybody's life easier in that offense.
Mm.
And we're seeing now that without Christian McCaffrey, that offense doesn't look as easy as it used to.
I just don't get why they don't throw Debo back there. Like Debo could do that.
Debo don't want to play running back. That's the reason why he
Look,
doing what he
bro.
doing. He don't want to. He never wanted to play running back. The only reason he played running back that one year is because he had no choice. He was just trying to get on.
I'm just
He was
like
just trying to get on.
Ayuk is great. Jennings is a good receiver. Let them do what they gotta do. Debo, get in the backfield. We're struggling right now. Like
He doesn't want to play running
team
back.
player, bro.
He never wanted to play running back. That was never. He wants the ball, but like not like that.
In an open field, like catch.
Yes, he don't want the ball out the backfield like that. That's just what he. That's just not what he wants.
Hmm.
So, because that's always been a thing. Y'all been wanting Debo to play running back for years, and he always says, nah, I'm cool. I don't really want the ball like that. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
don't know what they gotta do, bro.
yeah, it just, I think so far, as it looks, if y'all don't score 30, y'all lose. That's how it looks right now. If y'all don't put up 30
But I'm
points,
like,
y'all
bro,
lose.
the defense should take care of that. Like the defense should be good enough to where you not putting up more than 20 on us and then just let the offense beat that. But I don't know.
You got top five Purdy. I don't know. You told me you got top five Purdy.
He's
Last time I checked, if you have a top five quarterback, it doesn't really matter.
I mean, it kind of does. Because if you go out there and you drop in 25, 30 on the team, but your defense is allowing the other team to drop 30 to 40, there's nothing you could do about that.
Right, but here's the thing. Your defense not giving up 30 to 40. Y'all lost to the Vikings, they only had 23 points. You lost to the Rams, they had 27. You lost to the Cardinals, they had 24. Now, mind you, is any of those offenses better than y'all's?
No.
Outside of maybe the Vikings. And even on paper, I think if you put those offenses together, y'all would still, most of those teams y'all lost to offensively, you would still pick your offense. The Rams, I think most people will still pick the Niners offense as a whole. The Cardinals, I think most people will still pick the Niners, the Niners offense as a whole. The Vikings, maybe a toss up now because of how good they've been, but I think if you would have asked people in that particular week who
Hmm.
offense was better on paper,
It's
and
us.
especially after y'all came off dominating the Jets, they would have said y'all. So let's still go back to my point. The offense just needs to play better.
Yeah, they need to score
Simple as
more.
that. They need to score more. Purdy, you're top
Look,
five, right? You're
he's
top
getting them
five.
down the field.
You're top five. Like you said, Brock Purdy's top five.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy top five takes care of that. You don't lose to a team, especially a team like the Rams 27-24 like that. With no Aaron Donald. I don't think did Puka play? Did Cup play?
No, they didn't play.
Everybody was hurt. And then you lose to Kyler Murray. He getting Call of Duty brand deals, and he got a rookie receiver. Do you know three players on the Cardinals offense? Don't worry, I'll wait.
Murray, Harrison Jr., and Connor.
Name me another player. And you didn't know about Marvin. You didn't know about Marvin Harrison until this year, and he hasn't played that great so far this season. So
Yeah.
Connor at best is probably an average running back,
Oh,
and Kyler
McBride.
Murray. Yeah,
McBride, the
but
tight end.
you only learn about him this year because he's having a great year this year. That's the
No,
only
I knew
reason.
about McBride
When
since last year
from what
because he's like one of the top tight ends in the league.
he wasn't a top tight end, recognized as a top tight end like that until this year. So
Well, I last
that
year
that
I
that
knew about him because I was
because
thinking about picking him up in the fantasy draft when we had it, but I was like, nah, let me
nobody
not go
picked him
get
up
him.
in fantasy draft last year. So why you didn't pick him up?
Because last year was when I knew about him. Like
So
I
why you
wouldn't
didn't pick
pick him
him up?
up
Because
this
nobody
year.
else did. Because he set the bench. Because
Because
Zach
I
Ertz was a
went for
starting tight end.
Kelsey. Because Kelsey's supposed to be the number one tight end, so that's why I went and grabbed Kelsey instead of grabbing McBride. And then
And
we
what
don't
was
know what
another?
Kyler Murray's gonna do. I know Mahomes is gonna go out there and play, which I thought Mahomes was gonna be connecting with Kelsey all season, which did not happen. But I don't know about Kyler Murray, so that's why I was like, I might not pick McBride. Can you hear me?
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm
I
saying.
hear you. I hear you. I
But I
hear you
named you
right
more
now.
than three people on the offense.
Yeah. I suppose so.
Yeah.
Suppose so.
Well, anyways, I want to talk to you about Commanders too.
All right. We talked about them last week.
They're going crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they good.
Is
They
Daniels
good.
gonna get Rookie of the Year?
Probably. I
Is
think
he gonna
so.
get MVP?
No.
No, you think who's gonna be Justin Jefferson? Or is
No,
it
it'll be between Patrick, Lamar, Josh Allen, um skill player wise, it might be Justin Jefferson, depending on how good of a year he has. Um, yeah, I think Jane Daniels is playing great. I think by far he's probably the clear cut to win the rookie of the season. Ended today. I don't know about MVP though. I think that's a stretch. Can he win
uh,
it? Maybe. I mean,
if
he
he
would have to keep
continues
up.
this?
If he keeps up his level of play, I think he'll be in the discussion. But I still think that he will have a lot of. I think there'll be a lot of people probably put in front of him.
Yeah.
Because let me see. Let me look at his stats this year because I'm actually curious. James Daniels. Because he's playing great. He's playing excellent. And I think honestly his first he had a good test against the Bengals, but he has another test against us this week. So I think we're going to kind of see what he really is about. So like this year so far, four touchdowns, two interceptions, 77 completion percentage, which is great. 1,100 yards already, averaging 8 yards an attempt. Um, yeah, quarterback rating, QBR 73, rated 106. I think he's having a good year. I think he's having a great year for a rookie for sure. Even if he was years in, I think it was a good year. Like I
Yeah.
said, but I think he's still got to go through the season. So I think it's still early for him. I wouldn't put him as my MVP, but I mean, if somebody did, I wouldn't be mad at it. And I don't know if a rookie can win MVP. I think we haven't seen it. I think the last person to win rookie as an MVP was they just said it too not too long ago. Um, what's bro name? Because I think he was a quarterback too. Let me see. To win NFL MVP. Jim Brown. Jim Brown was the last rookie that won MVP, and that was in 1957. So not really,
Not
not
likely.
really. Yeah, not likely. So if he does, great. If not, I'm not surprised. It's kind of just like, all right, bro, you just had a good year. But I will say for him to be winning like this, and I think they're number one in the NFC East right now. Very impressive. Very impressive, especially for the first quarter of the season. So let's just hope they can keep it up. Because yeah, the season start. You go through ebbs and flows throughout the year, and even though they're great, they're still an unproven team. They have played good games. They play good team. They won good games, but like I said, they're still young. They are on a rookie quarterback that we still don't really know about, even though we believe in his talent. We still got to see. He still got a lot more tests he got to pass. So I'm rooting for him though. I hope he wins. Not this week though. I hope he loses this week, but after this week, then yeah, I wish him the best.
Yeah, no, he's
So,
doing good. All
um,
right. Anything you
last but
got,
not
or
least, huh?
is there anything you got on your mind, or you want to go
Yeah,
into the
yeah, yeah.
picks?
Kind of wanted to. Well, before we do the picks, I mean, obviously, I mean, I thought we were gonna get into it earlier, but let's talk about it now before we hop up out of here, and because it might end up happening either tomorrow or sometime in the next few days.
Devontae?
Devontae Adams, yeah, Devontae Adams, of course.
Ugh.
Devontae Adams has been in trade rumors for the past couple weeks now, and they had subliminals thrown in the in the post game conference by Andy Pierce. And we kind of find out Devontae Adams was Devontae Adams, and then he requested a trade. In the grand scheme of things, I don't blame him. I mean, he's been wanting to play with a good quarterback for a while now, and he just hasn't got lucky with that outside of Aaron Rodgers. So and ironically, his allegedly his rumor to be team that he wants to go to is either to the Jets, which is with his boy from from Green Bay, or he wants to go to New Orleans, preferably with Derek Carr, which is his other quarterback that he likes. So, in your personal opinion, which team do you think he will end up getting traded to, or do you think there's a team that he will actually get traded to? Or did we talk about this last week? Maybe.
No, we didn't bring it up.
Nah, that's what we did. But yeah, where do you see him getting traded to? Because obviously he requested a trade, and allegedly he's supposed to be done, or allegedly is almost done. Nobody just knows what team it's for. Everybody just speculating. So we're kind of just waiting to see. But in your opinion, where do you think he will go?
I would say number one, I hope he does not go to the Chiefs. That would be crazy because they do need the help because they just lost Rice on that offense. But Worthy's been picking it up, so hopefully he could continue to do that. But if he went to the Chiefs, I'm done, bro. I'm done with the season. You already know they're gonna get that three-peat. Another team that I could see happening is if they traded him for CD Lamb, they swap because we already see CD's not happy over there at Dallas with Dak. So that could be a possible trade.
What you
Um,
mean?
well, because this past week we seen that CD Lamb was like mouthing off to Dak. Did you see all that controversial stuff that was happening?
I mean, I seen the video, but all it was you just like throw the ball, like jump ball, throw the ball up. That was it. It wasn't.
Nah, he went to the sideline and was saying stuff to Dak because he was like, bro, he's like, that's some BS. Because he was telling him like if you saw the game, he only threw it to CD when he knew that he was gonna get hit like instantly as he caught the ball. Like he didn't hit him while he was open. He had other targets that he was hitting. So
Oh, you had to show me the videos then because the ones I seen was the one video, the one clip I kept seeing was him talking to Dak and his head was down. And he
nah, he
kept
came off the field and he was like they slow mode and like zoomed in on his face, and he was telling Dak like, "Hey, Dak, you know that's some BS, right?" And Prescott was just like not paying attention to him. So
oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
he's not happy over there. So that could be possibly a thing if they want to swap receivers, because I mean it's basically the same player. So he could do that. But if we're talking about the two teams you mentioned, I mean, if he wants a shot to actually like win and go to the playoffs, he would probably go to the Saints to go back with Derek Carr. But I would like to see him go to the Jets to kind of just help them revive that offense because I feel like Aaron Rodgers is not doing well over there. And like you said, it's just the whole team right now is just not liking each other. Maybe bringing in a new receiver can help that out, and especially with someone with the caliber of Devontae Adams, it's just I don't know, man. If I had to choose him to go to either of those teams, I would want him to go to the Saints. I think that'd be better
Okay.
for him.
Okay. Um,
What do you think?
what do I think? I don't know. Uh, I think I think from a from a team standpoint, I think both teams obviously can benefit from a player like Devontae Adams. Obviously, with the Jets, I don't know what they would have to give up, but then that's kind of what I'm looking up right now because I'm trying to like do like calculations with certain players. Um, Devontae Adams is not cheap. He
No.
is a $25 million cap hit on your roster or just in general. Um, so whoever pays him has to have the money to be able to take him in, right? So let's start there. Um, the Jets have 16 million in cap space, which is pretty good, especially when you're trying to incorporate a player like Devontae Adams, which means you still obviously have to give up some players. So um,
I think
I'm
they said
trying to
the
look at
Browns was also an option because of the cap
Browns.
space. They said the
Yeah,
Ravens, Kansas
yeah.
City.
I personally, I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. I don't want him.
Yeah, you guys are clicking right now. You don't need to
Yeah,
add somebody
I
new.
don't. But the reason why I don't want him because I just don't know what we would have to give up to get him. So personally, for me, like personally speaking, I just don't really want him on my roster. Um, yeah. So like for example, the Saints, right? They only have 3 million in cap space. So off rip, like they have a lot to like. They're going to have to dispose of a lot of contracts, right? So
Yeah.
it would have to be to make up 25 million. Is you asking a lot. You know what I'm saying? To give up a decent amount of players to try to balance that. I think the Jets are probably the more favorable just because of the amount of money they have left over. And even with that, they would still have to kind of like there's certain players that they probably would have to give up that are like quintessential pieces to the roster because I don't expect the Raiders to not give back anything in return. I mean, with a talent like Devontae Adams, so it might be like a player and like maybe a second round pick, maybe a couple thirds. Who is the no? So I would say probably the Jets are probably, in my opinion, probably the favorites to get him. I think New Orleans offensively would help him a lot. I think, but it also kind of depends too because they uh they already not to say they already have receivers because like you got Devontae Adams. I think you were trading a lot of pieces for him, but um, it just kind of depends who is willing to pull that trigger. I think it's just the Jets just off the strength that they just have the more cap flexibility to probably give them the player that they want. Like they could do some picks with like a young promising player, maybe even a Garrett Wilson if they really wanted to get just to call it a spade, call it even. But whoever he gets traded to is going to have to give up something and some draft capital. And I know for a fact we don't really got that. And I don't really want to give up nobody. So I'm going to take our hat out the out the bucket. Um, and I don't even think the Steelers have anything worth of value to trade to the Raiders that they would want. So personally, I think it would probably be the Jets one. I think the Saints two. If the Chiefs somehow get them at this point, they're cheating. Like because at this point, y'all, I don't. What assets do you guys really have to get a talent like Devontae Adams on your roster?
Hmm.
So I think it's the Jets and then the Saints. Maybe we are a dark horse team, but I think we would have to give up a lot to get him. Like at least his draft capital and maybe a couple, rotational players. But like I said, I think it might cost too much for us. I think the Jets are probably they're probably in the driver's seat as far as getting Devontae Adams. So I'll say him.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
find
see.
out next
Hopefully,
week.
yeah, or maybe the next couple of days. Allegedly, it's supposed to happen in like the next 48 hours. So probably by the time this goes up and recorded and gets posted, we'll probably see him in another uniform. And we'll see what goes from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, moving along. This pretty much wraps up the podcast. But before we leave, about it is G thing. You know the vibes.
Let's just do
Um,
the prime time.
yeah, we'll do the prime time. Well, I mean, I actually do one better. We'll do the prime time, but also I think my segment that I think we'll do moving forward, instead of doing every game and what we pick, we will do our personal game of the week. It's a
Okay.
game that we will like. If you was to look at this week, and it was a game that you wanted to watch, outside of your favorite team, obviously, but if it's a good game, I'll vouch for it. But we're just talking about matchups. We're not talking about, oh, it's my favorite team, this, that, and the third. Now, granted, I'm going to cheat because this week I have the exception for it. But,
I mean, you do.
right. So, in general, it will be the game of the week that you are looking forward to watch if you had a chance to watch it, which you do because you have stuff
Mm.
now. So,
I've seen one more that I'm probably very interested in watching.
and say why. And then we'll go into the picks for the week. So, what's your game of
Okay.
the week?
I think one that I would really be interested in watching would be the Lions and Cowboys. Outside of you guys, obviously Commanders and Ravens, I think that's going to be an amazing game. But I think
And
Lions and
I
Cowboys would also be one. What?
why
I already know which one you're going to pick, so that's why I'm picking this one. I'm picking Lions and Cowboys. Just
why
because
though?
the Lions over the past couple years have developed to be a great team. And then it's both, in the NFC. This could be an NFC championship game possibly that we could possibly see if the Cowboys keep it together. And then we also see all the controversy that's happening with the Cowboys right now. So it's like if the Cowboys come out this week and they're able to play as a team and keep it together and take on the Lions, who have an incredible defense, then they should be able to pull out the win. But if they don't, and the Lions are coming back from a bye week, so they're going to be healthy and they're going to be just uh, rejuvenated, I guess you could say. But they're going against the Cowboys, who we thought their defense was going to be really good, but they haven't been on that par as of lately. But these are just two big dogs in the NFC that are going to have to go at it. And like I said, this could possibly be a four seeing. I don't even know what's the word is, but this could be like if we're watching the NFC Championship this year, possibly.
I think it's called foresighting or foreseeing.
Force it,
That's it.
yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Okay. Not mad at that. My personal game of the week, obviously, I mean, we talked about it a little bit earlier. It is going to be Washington at Baltimore. I think with Baltimore coming off their two wins, two back-to-back wins, with being three at 3-2, especially the way they had to come back from Cincinnati. I think they got the ball rolling offensively. I think the defense is still there. And now they get to see probably the hottest quarterback, that's probably going to win Rookie of the Year in Jaden Daniels, coming off pretty much destroying Cincinnati a couple weeks ago and then turning back around. And I think they played the Browns and pretty much dogged them. So Cincinnati, so far, the Washington Commanders have pretty much dogged the NFC North in a sense. So, with that being said, no, my bad. Yeah, they are 2-0 against the NFC North right now. So, with us being one of the final teams in the NFC North, they have to play before they probably play the Steelers sometime this year. Did they play the Steelers this year? Oh, yeah, they did week 10. So, we are one of their other, one of their last teams to play. So, it's definitely going to be a competitive game. I think that this is going to be another test for Jane Daniels because we are probably the best defense that he's probably going to play in our division. And probably the best defense or one of the better defense he will probably play all season. So for it will be definitely a good test to see where he's at. Let me see. Cowboys, Tennessee, no, yeah, will probably be the best defense he sees all season. So it definitely would be interesting to see. And obviously having a battle between a young rookie quarterback and a two-time MVP quarterback in Lamar Jackson, what I mean? It'll be a great matchup. It's gonna be an epic showdown. I can't wait for it. I'll be locked in watching that for sure. I'm very excited for that game. And yeah, man, to wrap this up, man, we are going to give our picks for the week. We have I think it's 4 games this week, if I remember correctly. I'm looking at it right now. We have 4 games. That is correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
four.
let me just make sure. Let me make sure my computer tripping. My computer is tripping. All right, cool. We have 4 games this week. Starting off on Thursday, we have San Francisco at Seattle. Obviously, we just had a long subject about Seattle. I mean, San Francisco pretty much laying the egg against the Cardinals in the second half, and now they have to turn back around and play against the Seattle, which I believe, if I remember correctly, just got came off
Loss.
a loss as well to the who they
Was it
played.
Giants?
Yeah, I think they lost to the Giants. Ew. So yeah, so they're not looking too great either right now. They're still at 3-2, right? But they games they beat were Denver, which is actually not a bad team right now. So I'll give them that one. They beat New England, whoop de doo, and they beat the Dolphins that don't have Tua. And then they got whooped by Detroit and they lost to the Giants. So coming off a short week, man. Who you got? I forgot who you
Niners.
got, but yeah, man. I ain't mad at
I know
that.
you got Seahawks. It's all good.
Oh, for sure. I'm rocking with Gino, man. You know what I'm
Yeah, I know
saying?
you
Gino,
are.
man, coming off a short week, man. I think that with all being said, man, I think they're going to make it a very uncomfortable day for Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy has probably another bad game off a short week. I think they play good coverage, they confuse him a little bit, get some pressure on the D line. Just control the clock. They control the clock, control the pace, control time of possession. Um, and I think Gino can have enough to pull this off at home. If this was on the road, I think I would lean towards the Niners, but since this is on the road, you know, I'm going to lean towards Seattle. I don't know, it might rain that day too. I'm not sure. Next we have I think it's a London game again.
Yeah.
We have Jacksonville against Chicago. Um, who you got? Obviously, Jacksonville coming off a win finally,
Yeah.
finally getting a dub, and the Bears, I believe, doing the same. Um,
I I think I'm gonna rock with Jacksonville just because I
yeah.
feel like the losses that they've had have been very close and they just
Mm-hmm.
have been misfortunate. And the Bears aren't really that good. So I feel like they can actually keep up with them and that they'll be able to take that. So I think I'm gonna go Jacksonville.
Yeah. I'm going with Chicago. I think that, like you said, I go with Chicago based on the fact that I think that the Chicago is starting to figure out their rhythm. DeAndre Swift had a pretty good game rushing the ball. A couple teams, last game and the game before. So the offense is picking up a little bit more as the week has progressed. It's still not playing up to probably a first round overall pick standards as far as Caleb Williams, but I think with I think against the team they're playing in Jacksonville, I just think they could be able to get that consistently rolling again against the Jaguars because yeah, I don't really believe in the Jaguars. I don't really think they're a good team. I think it's just that simple. Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is good, but I think the pieces around him are just not playing up to par. And I just don't think that their defense is that good. And yes, they have lost close games. Um, they lost to the Dolphins, they lost to Cleveland Browns, but only putting up 13 points is not really impressive to me. And then
Hmm.
you get smacked by the Bills. You lose a close one against the Texans, and then you beat the Colts. They don't really have a lot to stand on either. So I'm going to roll with the Bears in that regard because I just don't think that the Jaguars are a good team in general. And
Okay.
moving along, let me go back.
Sunday
Trying to go
night.
back. Sunday night, man. Who we got? We got we got Cincinnati at the Giants. I'm not gonna hold you. Give me Cincinnati. I think you probably going along the same thing.
Yeah, no, Cincinnati.
Yeah, there's no fighting that. So
Giants are
I
just
think
not that. T.
Giants not good. Just not
They
a good
got
team on
lucky this
paper.
past week.
I think Joe Burrow. I think offensively we've seen that they are still a top team offensively. I think defense could play a little bit better. Hopefully they don't give up big plays like they did against us, but also the Giants doesn't have that much talent as we do.
Yeah.
So it should be a winnable game for them. They should go in there and take care of business, but and I'm confident that Joe Burrow will. So, we'll see what happens. But I got Cincinnati. I think you do as well.
Yeah.
And finally, to end off Monday night, we have Buffalo at New York Giants. Now, granted, there is a possibility that Devontae Adams is on the Jets by the time we play this. But I don't know if he plays this week. I doubt he plays this week. So,
Yeah.
hypothetically, this is just the Rosters as is. As it is today, I'm going to go with. Oh.
You know who you're going with?
And others I don't know is because I don't know. I don't know, like defensively, what I like defensively. The Jets are still a top 10 defense, but offensively, both teams are still bad.
Yeah.
Um, Jets are probably worse offensively than the Bills,
Well,
but the
I'm
defense
just saying
is,
I'm going with
but the
Bills.
defense of the Jets is elite. Yeah,
I just don't like the way
I
the Jets have been playing together, and it just they haven't been good. I don't feel
and
like
it's
Aaron
but it's
Rodgers
just
has
the
been on
offense
it.
though. The defense is there. Like the
I'm putting
defense
my
is
money on Josh
fine.
Allen. I'm putting my money on Josh Allen.
Yeah, man, I can't believe I'm I can't believe we're in a timeline where you putting your money on Josh Allen over Aaron Rodgers. It's crazy to
Yeah.
say out loud, but I low key am probably behind you with that. I think when you have an offense that is last in rushing and can control the clock, it's a recipe for disaster. I don't even think
Yeah.
Devontae Adams fixes that, to be honest. What's up?
Family walked Why in. Into the door? I'm recording. Hey, why are you hitting me? Go over
You know what I'm
there. I'm almost
saying?
done. Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes.
Matter of fact, probably like three. Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, man, I think I'm going to go with the Bills as well. I think that, with not being able to run the ball, not being able to control the clock, that creates problems, especially for your offense because you become very pass heavy. And as great as
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is to try to depend on that at year 38, I mean, how old is he? I said year
He
38. How
too
old is
old.
he? He is very old.
He 40
He's like
something.
36. No, he ain't 40. Put some respect on Aaron Rodgers. He's very old, man. Just a lot to put on his shoulders. And even though the Bills are not that much better either, but they're better across the board enough to get that dub. So I expect the Bills to win. If Devontae Adams did get traded there, would you still keep that pick?
Yes.
Okay, I agree too. I think I
It's
still
not
will
gonna
too.
click game one.
Yeah, I think they still will. So yeah. All right. So we both got the Bills. And yeah.
That's it.
That pretty much wraps it up for the pod, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. This has been another episode of the pod with the bros or the Brodies, as we would call ourselves. Any last words, man, before we end the pod?
Hey man, Niners gotta get together. I can't take this.
Hey, man, look, dog, look, man, look, y'all are a very interesting team this year so far. And I think, like I said, it's still early. So, there's
Yeah,
not really
that's the good
like,
thing is it's still
it's
early.
not like, oh my God, are you in trouble for real?
Yeah,
But like,
like
this
we're
is
gonna
a,
have some work to do. Like if we want to make playoffs, we're gonna have some work to do. But
yes, for sure.
yeah, we gotta get together. But yeah, that's it.
So we'll see, man. It'll be very interesting. Um, like I said, we'll see. It's gonna be an interesting week of football, man. Can't wait. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. This has been another episode of the Brody's Pod. Until we find a name. Yeah. We'll catch y'all on the next one, man.
Doses.
Yeah.